This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan. As a quick reminder, we're doing things a little bit differently for our reviews of the Chicken Sisters. I'm joined by a rotating cast of co-hosts, and joining us today for season 2, episode 4, Let Your Hair Down, y'all, is Erin Shea. Erin's a familiar face in the Bramble Jam family. We had the pleasure of getting to meet her in Greenville this summer. Erin, thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here and to talk about the Chicken Sisters. Big fan.
So tell me your history with the Chicken Sisters, because our co-hosts are all coming at it from a different place. So did you watch season 1? Have you watched all of season 2? What are your thoughts so far?
With any film or TV project, if I find out that there is a book version, I try to read the book first. And so when season 1 came out and everyone kept saying, oh, it's a book, I really like the book, I said, great, I'm going to go get this book. And then I was still reading it when the first couple episodes aired for season 1, and I noticed there were a lot of differences. And I was so wrapped up in the book world where I was just like, I don't think I'm going to watch this. You know, I need to live in the book world for a while. And then when you asked me if I wanted to be on this season, I said, well, now is the time to watch all of season 1.
Oh my gosh.
And so I binged all of season 1, loved it. And then I've been watching season 2 every week.
So I read the book too. I read the book before season 1 came out, and our entire first season of reviews is in the book, because there's so many differences, and I'm a book first person too, and I like to have that, but I get so frustrated when my brain's trying to reconcile the book with the movie or the show. So were there big changes that you liked or didn't like? How did you feel about book versus series?
I waited. It's far enough removed where I can see that they're separate entities. Because listening to Deck the Hallmark, I was that person when they were recording those episodes in the back of the studio, being like, "Who? This person doesn't exist in the book."
Gus? Yeah.
And they keep talking about Frank Jr. and I was like, "Isn't he dead? What do you mean?" And May has 2 kids. Amanda has 2 kids. There's all these nuances that I was we're just leaving. I don't even know. So I love that they've changed enough of the book for the show, because I was in reading the book, I was like, I don't really know where a season 2 would come in. They ended pretty great. And then watching the show, I was like, all right, this is one of those rare moments on a book to screen adaptation where I feel like they knew what they were doing, because it set up season 2 so well. Will we get a season 3? I don't know. But at least the bridge from season 1 to season 2, I thought they changed just enough where I was hooked and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the changes made sense. A friend of mine read the book and didn't watch the show, but was listening to our recaps, and she was Gus in the book, I think, is Barbara. And the whole time she was like, who's Gus? It took her a full episode to figure out who we were talking about, just little changes like that. But I think you're right. It does set it up so much better for a season 2. Because at the end of the season, you're like, where do they go from here? But they've made it work. I mean, it doesn't feel like they flow nicely. Like season 1 to season 2 flows really well for me. So this episode, the synopsis is, it's May's bachelorette party, and Amanda commits to giving her notoriously over-planning sister a night full of carefree fun and making memories. What was your first impression of this episode?
My first impression of this episode was, I'm still really excited about Merrimack.
That's so exciting.
Because like, I just love their stories and like seeing just them be together.
I'm so glad to hear that, because I feel like as we're doing these reviews, it feels like nobody's watching this show. Like nobody seems to be talking about it. There doesn't seem to be a lot of feedback about it. I really like this series. Wendy's not doing these reviews because she was not a fan and was like, I really don't want to do a whole season of this.
Which I don't get, but I'm also happy because then I get to be here to talk about it.
It's been so fun. And initially we were like, we're not going to do it. And I was like, I have an idea. What if, because I wanted to watch and talk about it. So this has been really fun for me to get to talk to people that we might not normally have gotten to have on the show. It's interesting that you say like you're still all in on Merrimack. This episode for me felt like a huge like record scratch in terms of the tone and the pacing. There are a lot of things that I liked about it, but I was like a little bit jarred by what was happening. And I think that's maybe to be expected. It's episode 4 of an 8-episode season.
Right.
So at some point, like we kind of got to just develop things and there's not a lot of forward motion in my opinion, but there are a lot of things that I liked.
We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
So why don't we start with what you liked about this episode?
So what I liked, first of all, you're going to throw Rhiannon Fish into Merrimack. And she gets to play, like, she's usually the lead. She's usually the one, the girl next door that everyone's falling in love with. And not that she's quite a villain, but for her to come in and be like the bad guy.
Yes, the do not answer one.
Yeah, where he's like, "You're in my phone, is do not answer," and she's just like, "Well, what I'm hearing is I'm stealing your phone." Like, red flag right there, Rhiannon. So I loved that. I'm not loving, like, I don't want there to be a huge like love triangle. Like, I'm glad she came in. We got to meet her. I'm cool if she just leaves. Then I am really loving this Clayton and May storyline. Like them getting to meet later in life and have this moment, where, and I feel like he's doing a nice job, at least where like he's coming in and very actively being like, "You are my daughter. I want to know you. I'm here as long as you want." And like trying to be in her life without also taking over. So there are these like sweet moments with them, him and Gus. Like, I'm excited to see where this goes with Clayton. And then the things that I think really stood out to me in this episode and why I really liked it and really was drawn to this episode was with the Bachelorette, like having someone else take that play. I'm the planner. Like, I like to plan things and I have to win and I have to be in control. And seeing May let somebody else take that over for her. And then Schiff gets to enjoy a night out with her friends, being free. I recently had a night with a friend where we had a few glasses of wine and it came up of like, I don't remember the last time I did a cartwheel. Oh. And so then we're just out on the front lawn doing cartwheels. And so when they're talking about it, I had this moment where I was like, I literally just did this, where it's like, I had this night where I was like, can I still do a cartwheel? So I loved that. Like, I just felt like, hey, I did this. Like,
can you still do a cartwheel? Because I definitely cannot still do one.
I can do like one cartwheel.
Okay. Even after a couple glasses of wine, that's impressive.
Yeah. And then you should just stop. You should do the one, be like, that was amazing, and then you should stop. If anyone listening is attempting it, maybe don't.
Celebrate and then move on.
Celebrate and then be like, great, I did it. We don't need to repeat this because it just gets worse. And then the last thing was, So I am oldest daughter in my family. I have one younger brother. And so I feel like my whole life, I was always the one where I was in charge and planning and looking out, to an extent, looking out for my parents, looking out for me, looking out for my brother. And we have recently had this dynamic shift where he has kind of stepped up, and he had a conversation. Like, we were dealing with a family issue, and I was usually the one that everyone like leaned on and talked to, and I was really struggling being that person. And he kind of was like, I've got this. Like, you go take care of you. Like, I'm handling this. And so, and also seeing Amanda be like, hey, I love that you've taken care of me my whole life, but like, let me take care of you. So it was just like an episode that brought me personal life feels.
I really loved that too. I'm also an eldest daughter. And that moment of gratitude where she finally, like, we've seen so many moments of her in this season and a half of May stepping up and being the one to protect Amanda and kind of being this second parent. I've been asking all this season, like, we have this question about who's May's dad, and she meets him, and I'm like, wait a minute, what about Amanda's dad? Where was that going? And I love that she says, like, I've never cared. I didn't feel like I was missing anything because I had you and mom. That was a great moment and a great revelation for the audience too, I think. I think this episode is so May heavy. The way Gus tells the story of May's life through her time cards and the memories that are related to those, I loved so much. Like, when she first brings them out, I was like, come on, Gus. And then she's like, this is, you know, she missed the prom because she had to step up and be the one to keep the restaurant open. Or she insisted we stay open on Christmas Day, and that it was full of people who had nowhere else to go. It was very grounding in terms of May's storyline and how Gus feels about her, because I don't know that we've gotten a chance to see Gus. Like, she's had these little moments of coming out and showing like she wasn't fully wrapped up in herself. Like, she remembers those moments with her girls.
Right.
We see in the beginning when she's making the jam, she almost has this like level of perfection. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to fall in line. And it's really funny. I have a lot of thoughts about the Bachelorette, but to see like her level of control that she needed to have over everything, and finally for her to feel comfortable that someone can handle it, like someone can take over and it's going to be okay. As a fellow control freak, I appreciated that as well. Do you have more likes?
I think those are my big ones. Just seeing the sisters kind of be moving kind of into opposite roles, letting May get her hair down, you know, because as she's making the jam, or like you see in season 1, there's that episode where she's in her New York kitchen and everything has to be like exactly perfect in the kitchen. And then you see her making the jam, and she's, you know, everyone's enjoying the jam and eating the jam. They're like, come eat with us. And she's like scrubbing down pots. And it is nice because I know what that's like, where it's like, I have to have everything the way I want it because I, you know, who else is going to take care of it? And then having that interplay with the sisters where it's like, you can take a deep breath, like someone else will be there.
It's such a nice moment where you see her like even straightening the spices. It like is a very impactful moment where you see how important those details are to her. I have just a few lines that I wanted to call out that I loved. I like my wine in boxes. It's easier to stack. Love that. Shauna calling Sergio's ex arriving the Haley's Comet of gossip. And May's I don't stream cheat line when Jay accuses her of watching ahead on their show. Loved it. Loved it. Let's talk what we wished for in this episode.
Yeah. My biggest thought is, I guess we'll start with my throwaway thought, which was just every time I watch an episode of this show, I just get this like quick little brief moment where I'm like, remember how Frank Jr. is dead in the book? I miss that. And it's just this moment where he's just being the worst. And I'm like, I miss the version of Merridack where we don't have to deal with you. And I know you're here for plot purposes, but like, you could leave.
Well, my notes in all caps say, I do not want a Frank Jr. redemption. Whatever we're trying to do here, I don't want it. And I get that, like, I feel like they want this happy ending, but can he just leave? Like, there's no version of this town that needs him in it.
No, the only version is he realizes that he's a jerk. He signs those divorce papers. And then somehow he gets a job in Mr. Chicken, like corporate, and he leaves.
He's out.
Look, he's out.
Because Frankie's leaving too. So it makes it, you know, there's that little part of you that's like, well, you don't want her to fully leave town and leave his daughter behind. But she's moving on too. So if she leaves, it makes it a little more acceptable for him to just be gone.
Yeah, she'll go off to New York. Maybe Mr. Chicken Corporate is in, the New England area.
Yeah. New Jersey, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like every time I watch an episode, I'm just like, we don't need this.
No.
And then my other thought while watching it is I have not listened to your recaps of The Way Home, but from what I've heard is you guys are big fans of The Way Home.
We are.
Okay. Me too.
Okay.
I love On the Way Home where when they have the actors playing like the young Elliot and the young Kat, like they look so alike. And so they walk on screen and you're immediately like, this is teenage Elliot. Or like, and you can see who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the Chicken Sisters did not put that much thought into like, I don't know, like I have a lot of redheads in my life, and the redhead you can't just throw a redhead in the scene and I'm going to assume it's May. Like that's just sloppy. It wasn't until we got to like teenage May where I was like, oh, this is May.
Yes.
When the kids are on the screen every time, I'm just like, it takes me a minute where I'm like, who are these random children? And then like,
and young Gus was a miss for me.
I like just don't. So it does, like when we do the flashbacks, I love the storyline of the flashbacks and I love what they're trying to tell us and show us about these family dynamics. But it does take me out of the story a little bit because it takes me a minute to be like, this is Gus. This is May. Like, so Hallmark, we know that you can do incredible casting. And I just feel like we didn't quite put as much thought into this one.
Yeah, I agree. I got to talk about May's sophisticate. Look, in general, I think it's a funny idea that she like wanted to tightly control this party and she didn't want this over the top. Well, it was over the top, but she didn't want to be out of control. She didn't want to be in a situation that she couldn't control every aspect of it. I think we pushed it a little too far. Like, to me, it's like a parody of what somebody who wants to be in control would plan, like 7 wine pairings. This is, especially if you want me to believe that this is a woman who couldn't even get it together enough to plan her own wedding, but then she can plan this ridiculously elaborate dinner party. It was a little too much for me. Also too much for me was Nancy's petition moment. Look, I'm glad that she's finding her voice, but like when she stands up and she's like, y'all gotta sign the petition, I was like, what? Like, it's a little too easy the way Patrick's like, thanks, and takes the petition and starts passing it. It didn't land for me. I have a couple things that I'm worried about. Well, one, we're a little bit too much limbo about this trip situation with the pastor. I know she's not going to go. We saw her be worried about Gus and her ability to function on her own. She's not going to go. But can we just get there? Like, let's just, I don't need this. I'm also very worried about Clayton. I like that May is getting, when he steps up, he's like, I paid for the wine. That's such a nice way for her to feel supported, for her to feel like someone has her back, because no one has had her back. I just feel like he came into town. Their initial meeting went so well. Things are going well with him and Gus. I just feel like the other shoe is going to drop at any moment, and that's my concern.
I'm just going to believe that the other shoe in Marinaki is always going to be Frank Jr., and they will just let me have Clayton be just this guy who comes in that these women have been on their own for so long, and they're going to let Clayton come in and just be this, like, not missing piece, but I'm just, don't do it. Don't do it, Hallmark.
Maybe we can have some good guys, because the pastor has turned out to be kind of a disappointment. Like at the end of season 1, you're like, that's so nice. Nancy has someone who's going to care about her. And then he's just kind of like Frank Sr. light, like maybe not as problematic, but certainly not the man that she needs. I'm just worried about it. So
I would love to know if she and the pastor had conversations off camera about how long is this trip? Where are we going? What are we doing there? Because the conversation we've seen, it's her being like, wait, months? And like,
and that's it.
You know, and then when she's talking about like how she's kind of agreed to go, but doesn't even know what they're doing. And he's just like, well, you're just going to be there to support me. And it's like, sir, why would you invite her to come on this months-long trip with you and just have her stand there? Like, why can't she get her hands dirty and help Are they building houses? Like, I don't even know what they're doing.
Well, that's the other thing. Is that a plot point that we don't know what they're doing, or is it simply they're not wasting time on it? Because we could waste a little bit of time and give us a tiny bit of information, unless there's some big crazy reveal that we don't know what is coming. Yeah.
Have like one more conversation on camera about this trip, like that you've agreed to go on out of like.
Do I need a passport? Like, what are we doing?
Well, he's already bought her plane tickets. I assume don't you have to have a passport before you buy out of country plane tickets? No.
Yes.
I feel like the last time. I mean, I didn't buy
passport number in.
Yeah, like we went on a family trip to Ireland a couple years ago. So one family member booked all the flights, but I'm pretty sure I had to email them my passport number.
I think you're right.
So this woman who hasn't like ever really left Merrimack, she just has a passport in the wings, just
waiting for her chance. She didn't get on the bus to DC, but she's going to
South America. Yeah, I just have a lot of questions. I just feel like, ma'am, you're realizing how bad your first marriage was. You're seeing actively a marriage fall apart between your son and your daughter-in-law. Maybe have one more conversation before you fly to South America with a man.
Yes. Have we learned nothing, Nancy? I guess my other hope is that we brought in such a big name for Clayton, going back to the Clayton of it all, that my hope there would be that wasn't just a one-season wonder, although we did bring Rhiannon Fish in for what I'm going to assume is a single episode. I mean, he deletes her from his phone at the end, which is great. Like, I love that's so fun. Bring her in for one, stunt cast that, get her to promote it, bring in these familiar Hallmark faces, get people to watch this freaking show. All right, let's talk Did You See That? Do you have any Did You See That moments?
So mine was the Sophisticate. Just when everyone starts parading in their outfits. Like Amanda walks in and just like a cute little sundress, and I was like, great. And then Shauna walks in and I was like, okay, different vibe. Like and everyone just has these like wild ensembles on. And I was
going
like,
to 7 different parties.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening here? And I'm fully like, I think like my dream bachelorette would be to like rent an Airbnb on the ocean and basically not leave that house for 2 days.
Same.
But I would like want to have a nice dinner with my friends. But I don't have the control to do like a 7-course wine pairing. It would just be like we're gonna have a sit-down meal and there will be wine.
Drink what you like.
So that, like when you said earlier how that was hard for you, like that where I was like, I know that she's a control freak, but like this hasn't been an area of her expertise that we've seen.
Sure.
And so it's weird that it's coming out now in such a way of like, we have to eat these, these meals in this order with this wine. No one's taking it seriously. I don't know. I just feel like you could have done, I don't know, the sisters could have talked prior to the Bachelorette and just been like, hey, we're going to do this sit down meal. We're going to, eat dinner together, drink some wine, and then we're hitting the town for shenanigans. Like you could have easily done both without having this big blow up moment in the middle where she thinks everyone's making fun of her. But yeah, it was just like a wild. It was when they all started walking in, I was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, I totally agree. My only real Did You See That moment is when May is in bed, like going to sleep at the end of the night. Like she's still full face of makeup. Amanda could have at the very least gotten a makeup wipe. Even the bold lip is still going strong. I just was like, take your makeup off before you go to bed.
Prove to your sister that you can be in control and take her makeup off.
Just get a makeup eraser washcloth. My goodness, she's getting married. She cannot go to bed with her makeup on. So we do a segment in these episodes called Fresh Eyes. It may not apply to you because you've seen all of it, but are there any questions after watching this episode or moments you feel like you missed or need more clarity on in this series?
I mean, I've watched the show within the last 2-3 weeks. So I'm semi-new to it.
Yeah, you probably know more than I do, honestly, having seen it more recently.
One of the things I'm wondering about is Frank Jr. getting a redemption arc? Because we don't need it. The show doesn't need it. Hallmark, we don't need to wrap every storyline up with a bow. Like sometimes people can just be not good people.
Mm-hmm. Life is messy. Let's show that.
He can just, once we get that train arm fixed, he can hop a train and just get out of Merrimack. And then I guess I never really listened to an episode because I haven't watched the show until recently. I haven't listened to your recaps or the Deck the Hallmark recaps closely. But Frankie and I can't think, Lindsay.
Yes.
When is that? Like, get Dudley out of here.
Yes. Thank you so much. We talked about that so much in season 1, and I bring it up in every episode because it's been really a mix. Like, some of our co-hosts have only watched like their episode that they're doing, and I'm like, what do you think about Frankie and Lindsay? And they're like, what are you talking about?
They're great friends.
Yeah. I'm team Frankie and Lindsay. I think it was in season 1 we were like, are they trying to tell us something? And then I felt like season finale, season 1, it was very clear what they were doing, and the whole Dudley of it all. His name's Dudley and they call him Dud. That's not an accident. Honestly, one of my biggest concerns about this season is we're building towards the wedding. That's got to be the season finale. And there are so many storylines that need wrapping up. Like, are we going to see Lindsay and Frankie finally realizing their feelings for each other? Are we going to see Amanda and Sergio finally getting together? Is Jake Foy finally going to return? Like, all of these moments, what's going to happen with Clayton? I'm a little worried about episode 8, I got to tell you.
Yeah, we only have 4 episodes left, and I feel like I need some closure. Yeah, I need at least by the finale for Frankie and Lindsay to realize there's something here.
Yes. Goodbye.
Because their chemistry is off the charts, and I need them to realize that, like, hey, just recognize what's happening here, because we all see it, and I need it.
That was my big wish last week, was that Hallmark didn't make me believe that Frankie actually enjoyed that kiss with Dudley. I was like, I would have played that so differently, because she walks away from it and she was like, oh, that was nice. I wanted her to be like disappointed and be like, oh. And that's not how they played it. That could have been a great moment of realization for her, but nobody asked me.
No.
Right.
Why not?
I mean, seriously. Who's your feathered friend of the week, the MVP of this episode for you?
For me this week, it is Leah Thompson, Nancy. In every episode, I feel like we get a little bit more of her realizing just how closeted she's been and just how much she wasn't noticing about the men in her life. And so I just feel like she's hopefully on like a precipice of understanding how valuable and strong and important she is on her own. You know, that she plays a vital role in Amanda's life and Gus's life. And I'm hoping she gets those 300 signatures, and it's this moment for her where she's like, I did this. Like, I can do something, you know. And so it wasn't like a full MVP moment, but there was like this spark in her in this episode where I was like, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get this moment where she's like, I am enough on my own. I can do it.
Me.
Yes, like I'm hoping that's along with everything else I'm looking forward to in this season. I need this moment from Nancy where she's like, oh, like women can do these hard things too.
One of my favorite scenes from this whole season has been when she goes to Frank and she's like, I'm sorry for the role I played, but you owe me an apology too, standing up for herself. I loved that because that is her weakest link right there, is her relationship with her son. So that being said, don't get mad. My feathered friend of the week is not somebody that I like, but someone that I think is playing an important role in this episode, and it's Frank Jr. So I think this episode is a little bit stuck in time. For me, it lacks forward motion. There's important elements, but I do think that Frank Jr. is driving the conflict forward in a really important way. When he pushes for a revamped chicken recipe, he finds a way to make it financially viable. The narrator reminding us he's still using the proprietary seasoning recipe used by the Chicken sisters. You know, this is all happening in the background, but it seems very clear that this is going to come into the forefront. There's going to be some sort of conflict there. And hopefully it's the conflict that leads to the demise and exile of Frank Jr.
Yes.
One can only dream. All apologies to that actor. I'm sure you're lovely, but Frank Jr. is the worst.
Like, and every time I feel like we have these, like, there'll be like a glimpse. I'm like, oh, is he going to be a human about this? And then he just like pivots and you're like, nope, no, he's not. He's just going to double down on being awful.
Even in the littlest things, like call me Frank, like he's distancing himself from his family. Doesn't want the
I took that to be also like him being his dad now. Like, I'm no longer in the shadow. Like, I am in charge.
Okay. Yeah, that too. All right. Well, those are our thoughts on season 2, episode 4 of the Chicken Sisters. Any final thoughts, Erin?
Hallmark, there's still time to listen to these episodes. And if you don't have the next 4 episodes laid out in the way we need them to, there is still time. I know your tight turnaround schedule. There's still time for you to wrap up some of these storylines for us. That's just like my final thoughts.
Some final edits.
Yeah, there's like 4 weeks until the finale, so you've got time to rewrite that if you need to.
Totally. Well, I don't think I need to ask. You are going to continue watching this series to finish it out.
I'm going to continue watching.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Where can
thank you for having me
after this episode?
Not really anywhere. I'm on Instagram. I think it's Shea12 or Erin Shea 12. I don't know. But mostly, I don't work for Deck the Hallmark anymore, but I do still, I'm on their Decom Descendants podcast. So that's still going. So you can tune in every week to watch Dan, Brand, and me review a Disney Channel original movie. So that's where you can find me.
Well, y'all, if you need a podcast producer, we might know where you can find one. So we'll leave all the relevant links in the show notes. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. If you love this podcast, we love your 5-star ratings and reviews. We'll see you next time for more Hallmark reviews. Goodbye. All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.
We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more. We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more. We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more. We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more. We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.